So after the tone confusing episode that we had last time, I was hoping that we get back on track with everything, and this episode was good. Like I said, last week's episode was good. It was just the tone was just going back and forth in multiple places. So I was curious to know, are they going to follow up with darkness or humor, or just do what they did last week? So, anyways, the new episode it has the return of the Scoutsman, and he looks way older since it's been 50 years, I must add. Um, I know it's been 50 years, and he's been confined to a wheelchair. That surprised me. Like, what happened? I would love to know what happened. Did he get injured in battle? And apparently, three armies, two of them we have no idea who, and one led by the Scoutsman and 100 of his daughters. Um, uh, I would like to know. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was talking to my friend about the daughters of Aku being all related, being being born at the same time, but I would, and you can also say that the mother of the daughters of Aku had superhuman endurance, but how the fuck did you create 100 girls, 100 daughters? No, I'm curious. Like, how did you and your wife, the Scoutsman's wife, since we started an episode back in the previous seasons, show up once? I'm trying to wonder, how the hell did you have 100 daughters? That seems humanly impossible. And I get it, like, oh, it's fantasy and whatnot. Just take it in strides. Like, there are plenty of other shows that have done that. I still want an explanation. Like, there has to be some form of reality-based logic here. Even then, it's technically impossible. So these three armies, one led by the Scoutsman and his 100 daughters, launch an assault on Aku's lair. That's a bad idea. Why? Because no weaponries can kill him, except for the sword, which was forged by gods. And inside, Aku doesn't even seem to take notice that it's an attack. He just takes it as annoyances and decides to deal with it, believing that it will relieve him of his malaise. As in, he is incredibly bored. So, Aku turns into a giant ball, a boulder, and swiftly destroys two of the armies, but allows the Scotsman daughters to escape, after the Scotsman decides to distract Aku with insults and buy his daughters more time. The Scotsman has balls enough, even confined to the wheelchair, even though he knows that the sword will not work, the rune sword will not be able to work, and the only thing that can destroy Aku is the sword, so this entire attack was useless. And he just goes on a triad against Aku, distracting him, and Aku's just like confused on what's going on. Like, he doesn't even seem to remember who the Scoutsman was. Like, he just forgot about him. Like, he's the second most dangerous man on the planet according to Aku's bounty hunters list. And he just forgot about him, I think. It generally looked like he forgot about him, and now Aku doesn't even recognize who he is. Now, you could make the assumption that, maybe it's because due to the fact it's been 50 years, he just assumed he died. But wouldn't the voice and the sword he holds kind of give way to that? But after being fed up with the Scoutsman's frequent insults and praising Jack, Aku just stands there bored out of his mind and just vaporizes him. Yeah, he's dead. The Scoutsman's dead. He is turned into a skeleton and reduced to ashes. And Aku returns to his lair. And he wonders why the Scoutsman even bothered to mention the samurai. And I'm like, didn't you get any information that said that the bounty hunters reported that, the Scoutsman and Jack know each other. And since it's been over 50 years since this personal war between Jack and Aku began, that Aku's grip on the planet has weakened and people are believing in hope again, wouldn't that have caught up to him? Or did he just kind of gone so bored that he's forgetting everything except, I gotta kill the samurai, I gotta kill the samurai, I gotta kill the samurai. And then just like, oh god, the samurai's not gonna die, is he? And he just stays in his lair and just and like Jack himself has says Aku hasn't shown himself in years, so is Aku just not keeping a track on current events? Yeah, he doesn't even know about the Daughters of Aku cult. The Scoutsmen saw Sue return to mourn their father, and through the powers of the runes, of the Celtic runes in his sword, he lives on as a ghost in his prime. And the Scoutsmen and his daughters all agree to find Jack and continue the fight against Aku with an even bigger army. And I'm thinking, okay, you can have the biggest army in the entire galaxy or the universe. You need one guy who has the key to destroy Aku, except he doesn't have the key. It was fallen into a pit and probably taken by some spiritual forces, since it's been revealed in a later episode in the series that Aku and Aisha will go after to get back the sword. So yeah, even the Scoutsman's not aware of this. I get why Jack probably never told him, or the fact they haven't seen each other in years. So we get back to the island, and Aisha continues to question her purpose. The moon transforms into the High Priestess's face. Now, this could be either seen as a mirage, as if part of her mind's conflicted because she hears repeated voices in her head from Jack and the High Priestess, basically telling Aisha, "Oh, we're right. No, they're right. No, this is right. No, that's right." And yeah, Aisha doesn't seem. I can't tell if this is like the High Priestess is able to talk to her, or is, well, just a mirage to her. Because if the High Priestess could do that with the moon, I'm curious as to know, wait, wouldn't that mean she would have just told the Daughters of Aku where the samurai was when they were ready? In fact, that would explain how they caught up to him so fast in the next episode. So the High Priestess commands Aisha to kill Jack in his sleep. So is that theory kind of correct, that she's aware? Is my guess that she's probably aware, that the ghost is aware? Sorry, I'm just getting speech and tongue-tied here. But like, I'm trying to wonder what's going on. Is the High Priestess is talking to her directly, or is this just a vision? And Aisha refuses to kill Jack, informing her mother that Jack saved her life and she only wants to know the truth. And shocked at her daughter's failure and perceived weakness, the High Priestess promptly dismisses her. As the sun comes up, Aisha knows Jack running away and chases him to the water. Jack soon emerges on the back of a water dragon, having tamed it to take them back to the mainland. Okay, how the flying fuck did he do that in, like, it looked like less than 60 seconds? Like, there's a difference between a ladybug and a water dragon. How? I'm curious. Okay, moving on. After taming it, once they arrive, Jack thanks the dragon for its help and bids farewell to Ashi. That night, however, after Jack experiences a brief hallucination in his campfire, Ashi catches up with him, demanding to know the truth. Before they go to sleep, well, Jack initially refuses to tell her the truth because she's been consumed by hate and anger. Well, being raised in an abusive household would probably do that to you, in a disturbing cult. Jack eventually is convinced to tell her after she tries to figure the truth out for herself, which would have ended in disaster. And before they go to sleep, and Ashi gazes up to the stars asking if Aku created them, and in response, Jack tells her one of his mother's bedtime stories about the creation of the stars and promises to show her the truth in the morning. Okay, I'm trying to wonder, okay, I get that gods exist, so why didn't Jack's dad tell him that he meant gods? Or, well, I get why he was probably a kid, but like, yeah, I think that was the best analogy they could come up with, so forget what I said. So, the next morning, Jack shows Ashi a single tree surrounded by spikes. It used to be a beautiful forest until Aku destroyed it in a display of power, leaving the tree as a reminder. Then he takes her to the city of Aku, really bad at coming up with names for towns, really bad. Jack steals some fresh clothes from the vendors to disguise himself and shows her the dark side of this city. An exiled criminal arrives from another world and is welcomed because of his evil nature. He is allowed to settle in a peaceful village, and despite the village being occupied, he menacingly states it is no problem, which means they're most likely dead. And the fact that Jack did not really do anything to stop him or kill him kinda would indicate that that village is dead. Yeah. This is able to further convince Ashi that Aku is evil, and she agrees to help defeat him. Jack disagrees, as without the sword there is no other way to do so, and has basically given up on all hope in humanity. Shortly after, Jack and Ashi come across a wounded blue creature who informs them that the children of his village were kidnapped and taken to a nearby factory to power a new mega robot. Okay, why are they coming up with bad names for the characters lately? Okay. Upon infiltrating the factory, Jack and Ashi find the children. I don't know why I keep calling her Aisha. Like, it just sounds like that to me. Ashi quickly find the children, who start chasing them after going feral from mind control. Jack keeps the children occupied while Ashi searches for the source of the mind control signal, only to be captured and brought before a guard called the Dominator. Yeah, when I saw this scene, I was a little concerned. Like, yeah, I was curious as to know, are you gonna sexually assault her? Like, you look like a robot, but afterwards we find out underneath that helmet you're a person. So, yeah, I'm curious as to know if you're really gonna do that. No, instead he tortures her relentlessly, calling her a samurai sympathizer, while explaining the factory's plan, stopping only to recharge his armor. Seeing Jack being overwhelmed, Ashi endures the torture and breaks free of her restraints, fighting back the pain of 10,000 volts. She manages to knock the Dominator's helmet off and hurls him into the factory's control panel, killing him in the explosion and freeing the children. And however, as the children's mind control implants short circuit, they fall to the ground appearing lifeless, and Jack cries out in agony and sees the mysterious samurai once again who has been following him. The samurai tells Jack it is time for something, and Jack calmly accompanies him out of the facility. Afterwards, as she is searching for Jack, she finds the children and discovers they are all alive. She then calls out for him to tell them that they succeeded, but he is nowhere to be found, ending on another cliffhanger. Okay, this episode was actually surprisingly, yeah, it wasn't really TV-14. It was actually TV-PG, I think. Like, I can't remember. I didn't see it live. I had to watch it online. And it's curious as to know, wait, how does is Aku kind of stupid lately? Like, Aku should be knowing about all this stuff. Has he really been reclusive in his hideout for God knows how many years and has reached this point that he is completely unaware of current events? And the part where Jack couldn't seem to tell the difference if they were dead or not, the children, like, I get why he would not think that, why he would think they were dead, because he's been seeing so much death and despair and whatnot that it's kind of gotten to him, and seeing children being slaughtered before, most likely. But I would be also thinking to myself, check their pulse. Like, you could check their pulse, right? They have hearts. Or are we just going to ignore that kind of logic? Now, the samurai, the mysterious ghost samurai, like, I thought that was a figment of his imagination. It looks like a figment of his imagination, and Jack just talking to him. But for some reason, the mysterious samurai keeps telling him it's time for something. So I'm curious to know, is this like Jack embracing his true dark side? Or will this lead to something else? Is it about the sword? Like, I really hope that gets explained in the coming episodes. And it's a little surprising. We're at the halfway mark, so the show's almost over, sadly. So I'm curious to know, yeah, what's gonna happen, and how will Ashi and Jack reunite? Like, won't Jack try to tell her that you kill children, and she'll explain that no, the children are all alive, and yeah, I'm curious as to know what's gonna happen. So afterwards, yeah, I see. I found out that unlike the rest of the episodes in season 5, which are TV 14 previously, this episode was rated TV PG. Now, I thought this was initially an error, though, because I don't recall a season going all this darkness and blood and violence. But, yeah, there's WWE. They've done that before. They switched from TV 14 to PG. Because of politically correct reasonings and Linda McMahon's political career. Though, it may be considered that due to the fact that this episode didn't really feature any blood. Yeah. And, yeah, I'm curious as to know what's going to happen. Like, and some people have compared the Scotsman's death greatly to that of Obi-Wan in episode 4. Just as Obi-Wan did to Vader, he taunts him before bravely accepting his imminent demise. And the fact that the Scout returns his spirit stronger than ever, much like how Obi-Wan came back as a Force ghost, I thought that was kind of interesting. But I'm curious, like, are they going to figure out this? Is the samurai going to get? Is Jack going to get back his sword before the Scotsman and his daughters find him? Because they don't seem to know where he's at, and they're going to assemble a much bigger army. Like, with that hype, I'm expecting a huge climactic ending to the show. Like, maybe they round up all the like, okay, I know this seems impossible, and the fact that we don't know if the episode's going to be an hour long, the final episode, but what if they go in all the way and bring in almost every ally Jack has made throughout his adventures, including those who managed to be free from Dimongo, provided they're still alive, and some of the characters who tried to kill Jack, but because they had a reason to fight, because they had no choice, like that bounty hunter girl when she was talking to those other bounty hunters. I can't remember her name, but she talked about how her kingdom was enslaved by Aku, and she thought if she kills the samurai and gets the money, she can buy back their freedom. So, yeah, I'm curious to know, will the ending to the show be this huge climactic battle that leads to Jack versus Aku one more time, and Jack goes back into the past to kill Aku, while the rest are making their valiant sacrifice to stop Aku from knowing about this? Like, it's curious to know, if it ends depressingly, then that would be very sweet. Like, they defeat Aku, but the world's all fucked up, and they have no choice but to rebuild. So, yeah, I'm curious. I can't wait what's going to happen next. I'm curious about the mysterious swordsman. Like, yeah, I just want to know what's that all about. Like, what is this thing that they're heading for? So, yeah, we'll have to find out soon enough in the coming weeks. So, those were my thoughts on Samurai Jack episode 5 of season 5, the 57th episode if you want to go overall. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.